All right, guys. So that's you can see quite a few things there not quite right in here. To begin with, the height from the roof to the evaporator, it's too low. I don't think it's the required amount, but since we don't have space, we're just gonna have to do it like that. Every base, this is what it's holding the evaporator, this frame. Every frame is different, so I'm gonna have to remove that. I'm gonna keep the same wood they had. Now the hole in this case, and I think in most of the cases it has to be about 3.5 inches at least, or minimum, and this is too small. That's gonna be a little bit difficulty. Also, the hole has to be like in an angle down. Now, when putting the evaporator right here, it's also, we gotta give it a little bit of an angle so that way the water can drain. Otherwise, the water might drip inside. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the frame of this one. I already removed this bolt right here. And before I remove the frame, I'm gonna put a little marks down here. Those marks already with a marker. I'll show you why later. But all you have to do is fold this thing down. See? All right, so to remove the frame, it has this little slots right here. That's when it's installed, so that way you can push this little pin and then pull the bracket up. Again, each unit is going to be different, but they're very good. It's going to be very similar. And I'm going to remove the bracket right now, so that way you can see. But what I did is the piping is right here. All right, so I'm going to bend all the piping back. I'm gonna bend it to the original, all piping, including this one. It was already, had already bended, but I'm gonna put it on the straight position, like if it's gonna go out of the wall. Yeah, all that is gonna go. Also, this is not gonna go there. This is gonna go somewhere else. But also, we gotta make the connection, okay? And that's the other. Cable is going to go all together with this through the hole right there. Okay, but once I bent the piping to this position, being very careful, I'm going to put the bracket back on. All right, the bracket, it just goes like that. It goes like this. Push it and it's on, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so let's continue with it, and I'm gonna work on the hole. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. For now, I'm gonna take the old bracket. I'm gonna take the old bracket out because I don't need it there. All right, so let's get it done. And I'm also gonna paint that wood to the same color that this is. Okay, so I'll catch you back, guys. So guys, as I mentioned to you, I am gonna paint the board, the baseboard. Now, about this base, if you don't have this base, you don't really need it, guys. As long as your new frame it's sit behind a 2x4 or a solid wood, well, then you don't need to make a base. However, if it doesn't fall in wooden frame on the back, then you probably will have to use some really good anchors to hold this. This is not very heavy, but still. And well, for better grip, then you may use one of these frames, like this one right there. I'm gonna reuse it. I don't have to. I don't like it, but I'm gonna redo it. All right. Alright guys, so I am ready to make the 3.5 inch, 2 3/4 hole. Remember, I'm gonna try to make it kind of like in an angle, so that way this thing can work. So let's get it done. Oh wow, this thing is really powerful. Sorry about the camera. It's almost there. It's almost out on the other side. So and we're just missing a little bit. See, by doing this, I had to move the curtain a little bit down, but this is what I make. It's a 2 3/4 hole, and it is kind of like in an angle down. It just needs a little bit, kind of messed up over here, but you're not gonna be able to see it. Pásale! So this is the outside. This is how it came out. A little bit above the window, but anyway. And I'm gonna try to run it the same as this one. It's best if it goes down, but it's gonna be on the way of the window, so I kind of see why they put it this way. I don't like it, but that's about the only way we can do it. If it's too long, we might be able to do it the other route. Alright, so let's see what happens. So before I make the connections for the indoor unit, I'm gonna put everything through the hole and see where everything is gonna stand. I'm gonna make the marks for these little two things over there on the wood, and that will give me a pretty much idea on where everything is gonna be setting on the moment of the installation. So I'm gonna do that before I install the wiring. Okay, so let's do it. I'm just gonna get all together like this, because that's gonna go through the hole. Okay, so what I'm doing, like I mentioned to you, I'm gonna run this through the hole all the way. And that gives me an idea of where everything is gonna be at. So I don't know if you can see down here, but down here, that's where I want the put my marks on both sides. So that's where I know where the brackets are gonna be getting to. Remember that this thing has to be like in an angle also, so that way the water can go through, but at least I know where the bracket is gonna go. And you see, this is about 1/4 inch down. All right, so all right, let's get it out. so yeah, I got the marks right there. The light is a little bit bad, but I got the marks right here. That's where it's gonna go, and I'm pretty much set of what I want to do. All right, so the next thing is just to put the bracket on it. All right, but before I do that, I'm gonna put the plastic cover like the way it's supposed to be. Okay, since I have this piece of wood right here, I'm gonna have to cut it so that way it can match, and also I'm gonna cut it right here so that way it looks just pretty. That's all. Okay, so as you can see, this is the cover. This is gonna go right in here, and what I want to do is I'm actually want to do that. Let me see. I actually want to. Well, yeah, probably gonna have to do that, but I'm gonna try to cut it in here, and this is where it goes, and then right in here and right in here, so that way it just matches the wall like the way it's supposed to be. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna cut it with I don't know, I'll find out. Okay guys, so I made the cut, and this is gonna fit right here perfectly in the hole. That's where it is. So I'm gonna put some silicone on the back, and I'm just gonna insert it there. Yeah, so this not. I'm just adding silicone. All right, and I'm just gonna put it right here. Not gonna make a. It's gonna make a good seal. All right, that's it. Hopefully you don't need to make those cuts. You know, hopefully your wall it's big enough and everything. It's just the space that I have. I had to make those cuts. So in case that happens to you, well, this is it. All right. Cool. So now we're going to the next step, which is install the bracket, the one that is going to hold the unit. Okay, so this is the plan that I'm gonna do to put the bracket, since I'm doing it by myself, you know. So I'm gonna try to put the bracket in here with the leveler, so that way I can level this thing, give them a little bit of an angle like that, so that way the water can drain out. Okay, so this is how it's gonna happen. I notice when I make the marks that this has to be somewhere around there. Yeah, so that way, yeah, that will be good. So yeah, let me, because the AC drops a little bit down, so I guess probably the edge, or about 1/8 of an inch, it will make it good. It's because of the space that I have is not much. Okay, so let's get it done. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the level right here, and I'm gonna, whoops, dropped, but no problem, I can get it back. I'm gonna put the level. I'm gonna make sure it's in between between the lines that I made. I'm gonna put it about 1/8, and it has to be in a drop to my right on this case. See, the level is marking that it is in a drop. It's a little bit down on a 1/8. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the bolts right now. I'm gonna try not to move it. I'm gonna put one bolt in here. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I am still on the this incline. I'm gonna put another bolt in here. All right, I got 2 bolts. Check it again. It is in decline, and I'm gonna keep putting some more bolts there, so that way it'll be tight. I need to mention that if you didn't want to use that, it came with these toggles. However, I don't like them. I have mentioned much better toggles that I use for this type. Incredibly lightweight. So we got everything as far as the bracket goes. It's hooked. We got the hole, we got the plastic. Now we have to do the electrical part on the evaporator or the inside unit, which either one you want to call it. Okay, so let's do it. So it is time to make the connections. This is what we got: ground, blue, brown, black, and purple on both sides. Okay, we got the same thing on both sides, so it's not like one side is for the outside or anything. So we're gonna connect the we're gonna make the connections to the mini split unit, and I know that every unit is different, but the connections are going to be very similar in all the mini splits. We got to remove the cover, the tape, plastic, or whatever you want to call them, to the inside unit. Remove the package. So what we do is that we open the cover, and on your right hand side, as you can see, there is a little box, electrical box. That's where we're gonna be installing the cables. All right, so we gotta take that screw out. I'm gonna take that screw out. I don't like when my phone rubs. But anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and remove that bolt, and see, we got the connections right there. Okay, I'm gonna move this a little bit apart so that way we can get the connections. Okay, so we got to bring the cable from the back and pass it through here. So there is this little bracket right here. That's the one that is going to be holding on the wire. So we got to remove that. You got to unscrew it. I didn't show that on the video. And we have to pass the wiring through the back all the way to the front. So instead of running the wire through the back, I decided to run it through the front because it's much easier. It's going to come out through the back and just run the whole thing. If you try to run it through the back, I find that it was a little bit hard. So we just got to push the whole wiring. And we almost got it all. Okay, now we have to make the connections in here. Okay, so to make the connections, it always has to be something different. It seems like if they did it on purpose, but this is the way they put it in here. It's match the ground and the end. So we got the ground and the end right there. So this is how we're gonna go by the ground and the end. So for the ground, we're gonna use the yellow and green, which is this one. The yellow and green, which is gonna be ground, and which is gonna be number 3. And we have to completely take that screw out. Make sure it doesn't drop. It's kind of hard. Okay. To be able to make it, stick it in here. Put your screwdriver, and try to stick it there. Yeah, there you go. So we got the ground. It was the yellow and green. Okay. So the next wire that we have on the end is the blue wire. I have to have a magnifier because my vision is awful right now. So the blue wire, it goes right on the end. Okay. So we're gonna wire end. Loosen it, try to stick it in, and put it. Okay, so we got 2 wires connected. According to the connections in here, the brown wire, it goes on the number 1 showing in here. It is very uncomfortable to work, however it's doable. Okay, so we got the brown, blue, so we got 2 more. According to the instructions, the white this is white and yellow, but there's no white and yellow. So there's white and black. So the white, it goes on the number 4. Of the unit. Okay. That's supposed to be the white. And the last one, it's the black, which is, it goes on number 5. All right, so we got the connections there. Again, according to this, is brown number 1, blue number 2. Well, the ground, which is yellow and green number 3, white 4, and black is 5. Okay. And of course, I'm following these directions right here. Okay. So we got the connections back. we have to all right. Okay, it's all set. I'm gonna try to put this right in there on that side if it's possible. It's kind of hard, but I'm gonna try. Okay, so we're gonna put this in here inside. This is the way it's supposed to be, and run this through here because that's the way it's supposed to be. And we're gonna put the little lid back in here, and we're gonna tighten it. So we have this thing done. This thing is supposed to be inside. It's not, it doesn't want to do it. Okay. I got this. I'll leave it there. Okay, so we got this thing set up. We're finished with the connections. Now it's time to put everything out there and, you know, start working on that process. Okay, so before we continue with anything, I want you to see that little cut right there. We're gonna cut it out on this case because the wiring to connect the equipment is going to go through here. And in other words, this one, which is the connection, which I have it inside already, is the 220. You know, this is going to go through here, so that way it doesn't bother the connections out there. Everything else with the wire and everything is going to go through the outside like that. All right. Okay, so let's continue with it and see you in a little bit. All right, guys, so the first thing I'm gonna do before I install the evaporator on its place, or the inside unit, whatever you want to call it, is that I'm gonna run the electrical through the hole first, because that's the longest piece of equipment. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Since I'm doing it by myself, remember, I have, oops, something fell. Since I'm doing it by myself, I have to do quite a few steps differently. But two hands will be real helpful, okay? So I'm gonna run everything through there, including the hose and the drain and everything through the hole again. And I'm gonna install the inside unit on those brackets. All right, so let's see how it comes out. Let's do it. All right. Okay, so I got the unit with me. I'm gonna keep throwing the electrical first, as much as you can. Then the next step is to pass the rest of the tubing through there, through the hole, everything. Like I say, two hands will be extremely helpful. Now we gotta make sure that we put this on the brackets. Okay, and I think I got it. Everything is on the bracket. This is gonna go up. So we got the inside unit installed in the brackets. Try to just pull it a little bit. If it feels like if it's strong enough, that means that you got it on. This is the back. I want to make sure. Yeah. Make sure. Try to look through the back to see if the bracket is on it, and if it's not, try to put it back on. All right. So the inside unit is hooked up. Before I continue with any other installations, I'm gonna go outside. I don't know if your unit came with this piece of PVC. If it is, you have to run it through here and let her inside. Okay, that's just to protect it from the wall. Okay. Now we keep going into the rest of the installation. I'm gonna take that old piping out. I'm gonna remove this old unit, and of course I'm gonna bring the other one. Okay. I'm not gonna show you how to take this off because I'm pretty sure you know how to do it. But once I remove all this, I'll get back to you in here. All right, see you in a little bit. Okay, so before I continue with any step, I have to bend the copper tubes this way because they're gonna run along this way. So the way to do it, you gotta be very careful with it. You're gonna put your hand, when they're new, they're very flexible, but still, what you don't want to do is try to pinch them. So you're gonna kind of try to hold it like that, so that way they're not pinched. Yeah. This one didn't pinch at all, so I'm still good. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, gotta try to bend it. Well, I'm gonna bend it. That's in case if you need to bend the piping. Okay, that's still good. Everything seems like in shape because, like I said, like I mentioned, the piping is gonna run all the way along this line. Okay, this cable is gonna go along with them. This pipe, I'm just gonna leave it alone. I was gonna make it all the way. I have an extension so that way, but I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't think that matters. I'm just gonna, that's the drain. So all right, so it's time to install the outside unit or the condenser. Outside, I already removed the old one, and I'm gonna try to see if hopefully they match the bolts that were already under. Okay, hopefully they will match if I get lucky, and I don't think so, but at least two of them. If two of them can match, I got it made. Depending on the codes, you might want to put a base on it. It's going to be elevated. For this one, it's concrete, and that's the way we're going to install it. That's the way it was. That's the way I'm going to do it. Okay. So I'm about to install it. Okay, so as you can see, two holes made it, and that's good. Later on I'm going to install those other two. So for right now, for the video, this is what I'm gonna leave it up to. I'm gonna install the nuts, and the outside unit, it's done. Okay. This is just to prevent movement or somebody try to get it in. I'll get you in a little bit. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to run the pipeline all the way, just like the way the other one was, and up to right here, just to see if everything reaches. And well, I'm just gonna unfold it and try to bend it. Alright, so I'll show you in a minute. Okay guys, so I unfolded the low pressure side, which is the thick connection pipe, and it reached all the way just like the other one was. Okay, right up to right there approximately. Okay. So I'm gonna make the connections right here, but first I'm gonna bring the high pressure side hose out here and do the same thing. Alright, so I am about to install the other tube, the low pressure side, and I'm going to start from that end. And got it. All right, so I'm not putting any tape, I'm not hooking anything right now because there's still some stuff to do. Now the first hoses I'm gonna hook it up first from the outside unit, because the least amount of time you want to expose the evaporator to humidity, the best. So by this time you should already have your pump, which this is the only part where you may require to hire somebody to do the vacuum. If you have everything installed and they come and do the vacuum and open the lines, they shouldn't charge you that much. You will save all the installation. If not, you might be able to rent one of those pumps and the hoses, or ask somebody if they can lend it to you, and you're good to go. All right, so I'm gonna hook up the hoses. So I'm gonna do the bottom one first, because it's the hardest or the more troublesome. I'll remove this. And this. Oh, you can see it there. As you can see, this is flare. Hook it up. Make sure it goes smooth. If you encounter any problems when you're tightening it, then stop and redo it. Kind of move it around. And you're gonna tighten it. Now, there is certain amount of torque that they want you to tighten this, but I don't have it with me. So what you do is you tighten it strong, but not that strong to damage the lines. You can measure your force and you can pretty much, okay, same thing the other side. I'll take this out. Hook it up. Make sure there's nothing. Inspect the flare to see if everything's good. And the same as the other one. Make sure it goes snug and nice and easy. Alright, you got them made. Once you finish that, tighten them up. Alright, and we're good to go on this part. Now we're gonna tighten the one on top. Okay, so now it's time to hook up the lines on top, and I'm gonna try to set up the camera. Okay, so of course I'm gonna be on the way, but I hope you can see it. connect accordingly. So, according to the diagram, the brownie goes in here. So the brown goes in there. Then we have the blue. I like for this thing to go on the bottom, but if you can, well, just there. The blue, and then you can see the ground. For the ground, we're gonna have to take this thing completely off. Okay, it's gonna be the ground. Then the gray, which is this one. Gray. And last but not least, the black. We put the wires, tighten this up. Okay. We're gonna put the box back with the exit there. Oh. I'm gonna put the bolt back on. Okay. Okay, so we got the cable, which is gonna go all the way along with this. Now the only thing we have to do is the pumping, the vacuum pump. I didn't brought the correct hose, but I'll bring it within an hour and continue finishing the job. We're about to be done in here. So now we're gonna connect the other end of the adapter. And here. All right. Make sure it's tight to avoid any leaks. Okay. Now this is the old gauges that I told you that I had. Now you're gonna connect the yellow line and you're gonna connect it on the vacuum pump. We're not gonna connect the high side pressure or the red line, so close. The red has gotta be close. You gotta open the gauge on the blue side or the low side, the low pressure side, and go ahead and turn on the pump. Right? And so we're gonna leave it there for a while. I'll come back to you in about an hour. I want to do a good vacuum. The most negative on that side it is the best. Okay, I'll catch you back later. So after an hour of running the vacuum pump, I'm gonna open the access ports, both. All right. We're gonna close the vacuum pump. We're gonna take the gauge, turn off, and we're gonna open the ports all the way. Both of them. Same as the other one. And now we are ready to test for leaks. We're gonna make a solution of soap, and I'll come back. There's a solution. Put some water. And we're going to test for leaks. The soap solution.
Pero va a querer que se lo limpie. Ah, okay.
Usually, if there is a leak, you can see bubbles coming out. I don't see anything right now. I have to test the one on top. Put in some soap in there. Just gonna pour it in. This seems to be pretty good. I don't see any bubbles. So I think we got that part done. I'm gonna put the covers. And we're gonna close them really good. Alright guys, so it's time for me to connect the unit. For this I already had that connection made for this. Remember, this is a 220 and I'm gonna hook it up. Alright, usually it beeps one time telling you that there is communication with the unit, which is pretty good. And I'm gonna try to put that back. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna try to, probably gonna have to make a notch in here so that way you can go through. But anyway, so I want to test the unit and see how it works. Let me put the batteries to the remote, and then we'll figure it out. I'll be with you. Okay, so I just turned on the AC. It came on, it turned on, everything seems to be pretty good. I'm gonna lower the temperature, which is right there. And this thing, it has a time relay. See, you know that everything's working if this little cover opens up. It's coming out. And we need to see the outside unit. As you can see, the outside unit is working. I'm touching the low side. It seems to be working. So let's see how it cools off. We just got an installation. The other thing we have to do is we have to put the tape that it came with. I'll show you how that later on. For right now, I just wanted to test to see if it was working all right. Okay, I'm right in front of the AC, and the temperature is very cold. So, guys, we just installed a mini split. Thanks for watching the whole thing. Thanks for coming all the way along with me. If you got that far, that means that you got it right. It's working fantastic. Now I gotta clean all this mess. But before that, I have to put a tape. Let me look for it. We have to put this tape on the lines, and it has to be tight. And that's about the last thing we're gonna do. Okay, all right, let's do it. I'm gonna start from here. We're gonna roll them up all the way up there. I'm not gonna record all this, it's just to roll them up. I'll show you the end result so that way you can see it. All right. Okay, guys, I'll show you then. Okay, guys, I want to show you the end result of the tape. This tape, it's just to protect it from UV light. So it looks kind of ugly, to be honest. That's how it was, so that's why I put it the same way. But it was not too many choices. If we wanna cross it right across the window, it will look even worse. So the very last thing we have to do is just to put the cover, this cover back on. It comes with the package, and you got a couple of screws in here, and put it there. And we're gonna put a couple of more screws, or just one more, it doesn't even matter. And right here in the package. And okay. This is just to cover the connections. And we're just gonna put one more and we'll be done. The whole installation, it's done. Okay, so we got it. Okay, guys, we now completed a whole installation of a mini split. It's very simple. From 1 to 10, I actually give it a 6, and that's just because of the vacuum pump. Other than that, it will be much easier. Alright, guys, well, time to enjoy this this machine. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for another amazing video that I'm gonna be uploading next. Thank you, guys.